Hey guys, welcome to the round 7 fantasy team review video. And yeah, that was a huge week of fantasy footy, some absolute monster scores being pumped out all across the board this week. And yeah, just so many premiums, so many fantasy relevant players just posted some huge fantasy scores this week. So it was a very big round. And yeah, I scored 23.54 this week, which was definitely my highest score of the year to date. And as a result, my ranking improved another 6,000 spots to 20,132nd overall. So still not a great ranking for me, but I am on the improve now. My team's starting to take shape, and yeah, definitely looking forward to the rest of the fantasy season, how it plays out from here. So taking a look at the team now and how it went this week, and starting off with the defenders. And yeah, as you can see there, all my defenders were solid. They all scored around that 90 mark this week. Dacos and Sicily, they were pretty solid as always, very reliable, those two. Jack Zeeble, he was very good actually. There was a moment in the first quarter where he went down to the rooms, copped some sort of knock to his leg, but yeah, he ended up coming on, finishing the game, and performed pretty well after that. So that could have been a disaster there for Zeeble, but yeah, he definitely performed well in the end. Brayshaw, he's starting to work back into form now, Brayshaw, which is nice to see, and he's just starting to play that sort of footy that we saw last year from him. So hopefully he can keep up this sort of form and kind of push that 90 to 100 mark each week for me, as that will definitely help out. And then Chase Jones, I was very happy with Jones this week. I brought him in last week for his absolutely horrid score of 37, but I was very lively on the weekend, kicked a couple of goals, even missed a few goals, so it could have even been a even bigger score there for Jones. But yeah, nice to see him pump out a 90 this week there. And then we have Chinchota there rounding out our defence this week, and he was great once again as a rookie, scoring another 70 plus score. And yeah, with him, it's just a matter of not whether he holds his spot in that Carlton side moving forward, as yeah, they do have quite a bit of depth in that defensive half, the Blues. So look, he's a great scorer, a great role for fantasy. So yeah, just hopefully he holds his spot moving forward, as he'll definitely make a lot of coin for us as a rookie in the next month or so there. Moving on to the midfielders now, starting with Taranto, and he was brilliant once again for the Tigers. He's just that main midfielder in there, and yeah, he hasn't dropped below 100 this season, so look, he just continues to deliver. And then we had Caleb Sarong. He was great. He did have a big first half, kind of faded away in the second half, but we definitely take that score from him. He's been excellent, an excellent pick for me. And then Rory Laird. Now, this was an absolute roller coaster this week regarding Rory Laird. There was so many reports that he was going to miss. He had calf tightness, but then he was going to play. But then there was more doubt uh, after the captain's run. He apparently went off early and all that, but he ended up playing, thankfully, and he was actually very good as well. And he scored most of those points in 3 quarters. In the last quarter, he only had about 10 points or so. So he was great, and yeah, definitely thankful that he played this week. And hopefully that calf is not too bad moving forward, and hopefully he doesn't miss a game. And then we have the Bont there, scored a 90 in his 200th game on the weekend against the Hawks. Now, not a great fantasy score, but that's kind of what the Bont does. He scores around that 90 to 100 mark, very consistent in that regard, but he does have that huge ceiling as we saw last week. So, look, he's been pretty good overall, I think, to start the year. And Tom Green, I brought in Tom Green this week for Luke Davies-Uniacke once LDU was ruled out on Thursday night, I think it was, or Friday. And yeah, went to Tom Green, and yeah, definitely exceeded my expectations in the end. I kind of brought him in hoping for a 110 sort of score, but 136 was absolutely massive for him, so you couldn't ask for much more there. And then Will Ashcroft, he was absolutely enormous on the weekend, and yeah, I'm pretty sure most of you would have seen that insane goal that he kicked. Definitely the goal of the year thus far, and yeah, his highest fantasy score of the season. So yeah, no need to move on from Will Ashcroft yet, but in the next couple of weeks, once he kind of maxes out on price, then we might look at it. But he's going fantastic. Finn Callaghan, he was really good. Definitely needed a big score from Callaghan, and his performance earned a Rising Star nomination this week against the Swans. So yeah, he was fantastic, but he just plays that wing role. So I still need to look to move him on despite his good score this week. And then we round out the midfield. Filippo fielded him over Wilmot. That was definitely a mistake there. And yeah, Filippo kind of looked really tired, I thought, on the weekend. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was rested this week. So he's probably, along with Callaghan, they're the two that I'm looking to trade out this week. And then to the bench there, Wilmot, he was pretty solid. And yeah, at the time I was sweating on his score a bit, as at that stage Rory Laird was doubtful to even play, and I thought I had to take Wilmot's score there. So in the end I didn't need it, thankfully, but yeah, he was pretty solid. To the rucks now, and yeah, this is the area that really set the tone this week for most people out there. I think most people rolled with the VC on Marshall this week, and he went absolutely massive and just took advantage of that inexperienced Port Adelaide ruck lineup, scoring 159, and yeah, definitely huge. And taking that as captain, you can't ask for much more there. So he was massive there, Roll Marshall. And then Witts there, he was pretty good. I think he's definitely benefited from taking that couple of weeks off there to deal with that back injury that he was apparently dealing with. So yeah, definitely take a score of 96 from Witts this week. And lastly, onto the forwards. They were very solid this week. No score below 70 there. And yeah, Dunkley, nice to see him pump out a huge score this week. Hasn't had an amazing season to date, but starting to work into it now in his new club at the Lions. Errol Goulden posted his highest score of the year, and he's fantastic. So hopefully he can kind of show a bit more of that sort of ceiling moving forward, scoring that around that 100 mark each week. That would be nice. Rosie, he was great. Not amazing, but that's kind of what he's done so far this year. Josh Rochelle. Now, I brought in Rochelle this week as kind of a point of difference sort of pick there. Unfortunately, I traded out Kate Chandler to him, so yeah, I ended up losing around 30 points there, which was unfortunate. But yeah, I've been pretty keen on Rochelle, what I've seen so far this year. Playing a lot of midfield time. Didn't spend a huge chunk of the time in the midfield on the weekend, which is a little concerning, but did have 4 behinds, no goals, so that could definitely been, that 79 there could have been a ton quite easily there. So hopefully he can be a nice pick for me moving forward. And then Harry Sheasel, back to his very best there, 126. And yeah, he's just not a rookie, he's a premium. So if he continues playing that half back role, he's definitely a keeper moving forward. And then we round out our forward line with Luke Pedler there. He's been a great rookie pick, really, really underrated, I think. And yeah, scores around that 70 each week for us. So he's been great and should still even make some cash moving forward there, which is nice. So now having a look at the trades I'm looking to make at this stage, heading into round 8, and yeah, I'm pretty set on my trades at the moment, barring any carnage at team selection. So what I'm looking to do is downgrade Phillippo. He's maxed out in price now and probably will get rested in the coming weeks or so, and look to bring in a basement price rookie there. At the moment, I brought in Sheldrick, but hopefully a new kind of basement price rookie is named there, so I'll bring that person in there. And then what I'll look to do with that cash is upgrade Finn Callaghan. Now, as I mentioned, he was great on the weekend, scored 98, but just that wing role, it's going to result in inconsistent fantasy scoring moving forward. So he's still a high priority for me to upgrade. And yeah, then I'll bring in Will Day. I definitely need Will Day. I think he's a must-have this week at that price. And yeah, he's had an amazing season if you take out that 2-week suspension. So definitely feel like I need Will Day in this week. And yeah, they're the trades that I'm looking to make. Very set on these trades, barring any carnage. And yeah, this is how the team looks like after those trades. And yeah, I'm pretty happy. I think it looks very solid, especially the on-field team there. Probably the only concern I have at the moment is just my bench is very thin moving forward, as you can see. So that's the concern, just how I'm going to get these remaining rookies off the field. But I definitely think I have a large chunk of premiums now that's going to result in high scores moving forward for my teams. So yeah, that's all for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you want to leave any questions or any trade ideas you have in the comments below, I'm happy to give a second opinion on those as always. And yeah, that's all for the video, and I'll see you at the end of round 8 next week.